go. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you everyone for being here and those watching on TV. Mayor's report, very short as usual. How about that bridge? Isn't it nice to finally have the bridge open? And on that subject, September 6th at 10:30, we're going to have an official ribbon cutting ceremony, even though the bridge is open. We're going to do it there in the parking lot of Hermann Lumber. So if anybody wants to participate in that, please feel free to do that. The only other thing, I hope people had some time to enjoy all the activities, got to go to the car show and stuff this weekend. A lot going on. It's the fall. Hermann is a busy place. I just want to take a moment to thank our city employees. You know, the general public, you know, a lot of times people complain about, oh, they got the road blocked, or doing this or doing that. You know, with all the problems with the detours and that, I think the city employees went out of their way to try and accommodate everybody. I think they do that all the time. I don't think they get enough recognition. These people is what keeps your city running, from the water to the electric to everything else. We got some good people, and they're there. Even if something goes wrong at midnight, the city crews are out there taking care of the problems. So I just wanted to make a public thing to say thank you to all our city employees. I'm very proud of all of them. So, move on to city administrator report.
Speaking of the bridge, you probably noticed that the fence that is there is only temporary. They put the cyclone fence because the wrought iron decorative grapevine motif part of that was not complete yet. So it will be installed on August 30th. And then, yes, everybody please come. It'll be a short ceremony, 20-30 minutes max, down by the bridge. And we'll have some refreshments and do a little celebrating. The comprehensive plan, the P&Z, Dolores is the board representative on that meeting. She and some members and Corey are organizing our first workshop, which is scheduled for September 25th. MRPC sent out those invites last Friday. We're trying to get specific representatives from different sectors of the community, and we tried to choose people that didn't participate in the chamber's strategic plan. There are some overlapping, but most of them are all different people, so that'll be good.
And that's for the comprehensive plan.
Yeah, that's a comprehensive plan. And then there'll be a second workshop several months after that, and that one will be more for the general public's input. So that is coming. This first workshop was by invite, but there is an open general workshop coming where we'll be seeking the public's input. I wanted to let you know about our siren. We have, every 2 years, we have our sirens checked and batteries changed. The CTOL one is having some intermittent problems when they checked it, and it is the last, what they told me, old style siren that we have in the city limits. And so there is a part that needs to be replaced right now. That's $3,000. That should fix it and get it going, but we need to plan for a new one, which is going to be at least $24,000, and it takes several months to get it. So if this $3,000 will get it fixed for now, and we put that $24,000 one in next year's budget, does that sound like an acceptable course of action? Okay. MIRMA grant. MIRMA offers some small, really simple grants opportunities, and we have filled out one for a push camera for the sewer. Now this is not the large remote camera with the trailer and the cleaning station and everything that was hundreds of thousands of dollars that we put into our bond needs. This is a smaller thing just for a push camera, that is about $9,000. So they'll pay 50% of that, and it's not in the budget, but I think that the wastewater budget can absorb that about $4,600. So if you guys approve of that also, we will move forward with getting that 50% grant if we get approved. But we find ourselves without any kind of sewer camera at all right now, so this would be really fantastic. Travis, when he was just here, he let me know that Moseal is supposed to come in. They're the ones who did our most recent street paving. They have had some scheduling conflicts and some rainouts and things, but they're supposed to be here next week and finish up those projects, Todd. We want to get those done so that we can do the next process is that CRF reclamite process that extends the life of our new streets, and Todd anxious to get that done. So we're hoping that all correlates. That ordinance to approve that contract for the reclamite is on your agenda tonight. Travis also told me that the contractors who came to look at the porch were going to provide us with a construction estimate so we go out for bids. Still have not done that. So I will stay on them to get us a bid so we can get that moving. That's about all I have. I too just wanted to thank the office staff in particular. We have a member of our team out on medical leave, and everyone is pitching in where they can, but there are a couple of the staff that are really carrying the bulk of that load, and I just thank them and appreciate them for everything that they're doing.
I agree. Okay, building inspector, Michael, you want to take the floor, please?
So Mike is coming here at the request of Alderman Shermer a couple meetings ago, had brought up the possibility of doing inspections as long-term rentals over term, doing inspections in between new renters. So Mike does this in New Haven, and he's going to tell us a little bit about that process and answer your questions.
This is designed specifically for long-term, like apartments, houses that are for rent. What it does is it kind of gives the city the opportunity to kind of bring the quality of housing up and maintenance of housing. You know, you can drive down the streets and there's places that could use a little help. This inspection takes place before the renter can get the utilities in their name. It falls back into the way it works in New Haven, it falls back to the landlord's name. And so there's a fee of $40 for me to go out and do the inspection. I usually will give 1 to 2 re-inspections, and initially getting the program off the ground takes a little bit more effort because a lot of these places haven't had any inspections in years. But once it's established, the typical inspection for me on a new tenant in New Haven is 10, 20 minutes. You know, I can zip through them pretty quick because they all have the GFIs, they all have the smoke detectors, you know, there's no missing railings. But there's a pretty broad list of things on the worksheet that I use. And to kind of make it real simple, it's kind of more like a dragnet. I can make our code fit to just about any of this stuff. You know, some of it seems a little, you know, big, like the exterior stuff. There are some buildings in town that are going to take more than 1 or 2 inspections to get up to this. But once it's inspected, the tenant can move in and it won't be re-inspected until the tenant changes. And if the tenant moves out before 12 months and it's been inspected and passes it, they don't have to have the new inspection. But generally, I know there will probably be some pushback here in town, but for example, in New Haven, they just accept it. It's part of the code. It's what, you know, landlords know it's coming, tenants know it's coming. And like I said, this is pretty broad. It covers everything. But, you know, fire and safety are hugely important. And what else is important is the exteriors of these properties and interiors. You know, you drive down the street, there's houses that stand out. There's apartments that stand out that could use a little kick in the backside. Any questions?
So as you're looking through the attachment here, the code from New Haven sample, Mike has noted a couple places that would not apply to us because we don't have a property maintenance code. He has them underlined and NA by them.
Anybody have any questions?
Would this just be for family rentals, or could we apply this towards business rentals?
Well, there is a business occupancy program too. It's much different though. It's a lot longer inspection. There's a lot more boxes to check, and it's $30. It's less money, but they take me a few hours. But I do that for businesses. But generally, yeah, if a business is a build out, the final inspection usually covers the occupancy inspection. Whereas like on the residential, it's a much simpler plan. But yeah, we do have a commercial occupancy program also. But I don't have a copy of that in there, but I could get you one. It's a lot more detailed.
Originally, I knew a business person said that they're having some issues with mold and different things, and that could maybe help fulfill that.
Yeah. I guess that would be something that would pop up if I saw moisture and mold and stuff on the wall.
But if it's a business, would the health department handle some of that?
Not
If they were
food
like
service.
retail, the health department would.
Oh,
Yeah, non-food. Sure.
But this also is like the interior cleanliness of the property. You know, a lot of times, one of my first stops is under the kitchen sink and under the vanity sinks. And, you know, a lot of times those bottoms are rotted out. And that kind of stuff has to be addressed because that's a mold and health issue.
So from what you've seen in New Haven, has this helped?
Oh, yeah. There, as anywhere, there's going to be a couple people that just fight you tooth and nail. But for the most part, everything, you know, like I said, it takes a little while to get there. Lee and I were talking about this, Lee is the guy I took the job from. It takes a little while to get it rolling initially because you're going to go into places that have never been inspected or places that were remodeled. So, you know, there's going to be some compliance issues there. But once they're up and going, you know, it's like I said, it's a pretty quick zip in and out. I know what I'm looking for. You know, I had one today where it was missing a ground fault. So I explained to the building owner what he needed to do, and he told me to get on it, and he'd give me a call in a couple days. So, I mean, that's typically how it happens. And then, as I was trying to explain this the other day, there are some people that tell you they're going to do something, and you can pretty much count on it getting done. There's others that'll tell you the sky's blue and you got to go outside and take a look. But, you know, certain buildings, I know they're going to get it taken care of. So instead of a third inspection, or sometimes even if it's a little tiny thing, I'll get a picture or text to me, and that's satisfactory.
How broad of a scope is like the city of New Haven's? I mean, I would imagine if we adopted something like this, it would kind of be modeled after this. How big of an inspection is it pretty detailed, or?
Well, I guess it would be detailed if you took line by line through here, but mostly what I'm looking for are health and safety things, and they're typical. A lot of this will fall under the NEC code, National Electric Code. The vast majority of this falls under the ICC or International Building Code. There's a few things in there that are specifically taken out of the International Property Maintenance Code, but I could not more, it wouldn't be very difficult for me to transfer that over to another code, you know, in the IBC, IRC, or NEC. So it's as broad as you want it to be,
Okay.
you know, but again, you know, you don't want to turn this into, you know,
This won't substitute a home inspection, but it will, in my mind, be more of a safety inspection to make sure the basics are there.
yeah, it's, in the ordinance, it points out that we're not liable for, you know, a tenant moves in and a light fixture shorts out or something, you know, it can't come back to us on that. But it's generally meant as a, just kind of a keeping your property up thing. You know, not renting out rat holes, lack of a better word.
How would this affect, how would this affect your workload?
At first, it would be a bit more work, but, you know, I don't know what the turnover in apartments is in town. You know, I don't know how often people move in and out. Initially, it would be a bit of work, but, you know, it can always fit in. I tend to inspect things at the earliest convenience to get it off my plate, so nothing's hung up, nobody's waiting for me to, you know, do the next step. I'm sure at the beginning it would be a little bit of work. It would be an adjustment for the landlords, you know, the building owners, it would be an adjustment for me. Once it got going, I think it would, like I said, it gets a lot easier as people accept it.
This is not just an annual, but whenever a vacancy happens.
Just when it changes occupants. So it could be,
5 years, 10 years.
yeah, you know,
But you said no more than a year. You said like, so I only lived there 6 months and they moved, it does not
right.
require
If
one.
a tenant leaves before the year is up, they don't have to get another inspection. Unless, I mean, the tenant tears the living daylights out of the place, you know, which is sometimes why they're gone before a year, so.
Any other question? So you were recommending that we do this here in Hermann?
Yeah, for lack of a better word, I think it would be nice to tip your toe into the water first, you know, not dive straight in, but start with specific, like solely apartments, you know, because you're gonna have a little, you know, convincing to do on some of the larger landlords in town.
I'm sure you will.
Oh, thanks.
Are you only talking about long-term?
Yeah, this is not guest house, this is not,
Long-term rental.
And
They already do the guest house inspections.
So they have to show the occupants inspection before the tenants can get the utilities in there.
yeah, and that's kind of a gray area, because I get my form handed to me, someone needs the inspection, I go to the inspection, I can give it back to the girls in the office. How it's enforced in the office is you can't get your electric turned on, or you can't get your water turned on until, you know, and sometimes the landlords have to get involved. But the enforcement, I did also include a letter in there that if people don't follow up and don't do the repairs, it becomes an ordinance, code violation. That's that letter that I included in there. So, I mean, how it's enforced and implemented, you know, there's a couple questions there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that'd have to be pretty steep, because if somebody's trying to get into an apartment and the landlord's dragging their feet on repairs, that could really put them in a hard spot.
Yeah, but the case for the landlord is they're the ones that are paying for the utilities at the time. They don't come out of the landlord's name until it's passed. So their incentive is to get the work done.
So how do y'all feel?
I like the idea. I think the city of Hermann could use this.
Any other comment?
And what about single-family residences, just upon a sale?
If they're rented, then it's the same thing, yeah.
So building a new house, or I live in a house for 20 years and sell it to you, you don't need an inspection and occupancy permit.
Unless you're renting it. If it's a rental, this covers rentals.
Just rental.
Does not,
I got you.
Do you, if you're in favor of doing this, does someone want to make a motion to proceed with it becoming an ordinance down the road?
I'll make a motion that the city move forward with establishing a residential rental occupancy regulation ordinance.
All right, a motion, do I have a second?
Can I ask a question before
Sure.
anyone seconds? So we were proposing to write up an ordinance.
Correct.
Then I will second.
Motion is
But
been
this
made.
is just gonna be for long-term rentals, not for homes, like Dave said, that just.
Unless it's a rental property, rental house.
So long-term rentals of any kind, whether it be a house, whether it be apartments, any
Mhm.
townhouse, anything, a long-term rental.
As
Yes.
long as it's rental. Not when somebody sells a house and moves out there. All right, got a first and second.
Do we have a second? You just-
I seconded.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Proceed with that.
But if you guys think of any questions, give me a call. I'll muddle my way through it.
Yes.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
And give Dave something to do.
Get
All right.
applications.
Moving right along. Thank you for doing that for us. We're going to move on. I have public comments, but we'll put them under new business. Any old business? We're going to move to new business. Under new business, we have the Deerberg Educational Foundation request to dig a private well for distilling.
Can you call Jesse?
You what?
Jesse will introduce the situation.
Jesse wants. Hey Jesse, your turn again.
So basically, the Deerberg Foundation came to us a while back. We were talking about some water and sewer issues, and they said that one of the criteria to be part of a particular whiskey
Ozark
help me out here.
Highlands.
Designation, there you go. Designation is that they need untreated water. And it's not enough to not be treated. It can't be messed with at all. It can never have been chlorinated. You can't just take the chlorine out. It has to be pure groundwater or spring water. So they had asked about drilling their own well. I knew we had an ordinance, so I told them they'd have to apply to get a well drilled. Just due to the proximity of our well and that well, because I don't know anything about wells, I called our well maintenance company and kind of explained the issue to them. At that time, I think we were under the understanding that they were going to have to do basically a public drinking water well. So that was the information I gave our well maintenance company. And he said he had no concerns as far as our water table dropping or anything. He didn't think it'd be anything to worry about. So that was kind of where we left it. And then at some point they found out they didn't have to have a public drinking water well. And so we re-emailed our maintenance company, and our maintenance company basically told us that they didn't think that was a good idea. They gave a couple reasons on why. I think the term was grouting. Basically possibilities of how the grouting seals one well or the other. Again, you could fit what I know about wells in a thimble, other than they're deep and they cost a lot. But
Is it going to be on the same aquifer that the city is?
so I don't know the answer to that, and I don't know that they'll know the answer to that until they start drilling. Because I would assume, and again, I don't know anything about wells, but I would assume that it has to do with depths and things like that. They may find water before they get to the depth we're at. So I don't know the answer to that. But me not knowing anything about wells, I have to defer to people that we pay to know about wells. So that's where you guys got the emails, and you have copies of the opinion of them. I did call, or email rather, the NPUA and kind of ask other cities how they handle situations like this. Most of them don't allow any well drilling inside their city limits. They do allow during like an annexation process or if they allow industry to drill their own, like, and these were like large capacity, like they built their own water tower scales, they're not allowed to attach to the city sewer. So there's a lot of different ways of handling it. I asked about a different, like a maintenance vendor for wells that maybe I could reach out to. Literally everyone that replied to me has the exact same well maintenance company that we have. I said, that's not true. There was one other one, but they were like a national company, and I couldn't find anything to get a hold of anybody there, and I feel fairly confident we would have had to pay for an opinion. So that's the gist of it. So
It's not the first well that the city has, there are other wells that are in the city.
oh yeah,
limits.
there are other wells inside the city
Not
limits,
city.
certainly. Yes, for sure.
This was a concern primarily about proximity in the situation.
The proximity was the big concern from the get-go for me, just because, again, I don't know anything. But I know a lot of the only wells I think that have been drilled in the city limits in the 20 years I've worked here have all been for geothermal. I don't believe there's been any water wells drilled in the city limits since I've been here. I wouldn't guarantee that with my life, but I'm fairly confident in it. But that's the information I have for you.
So have you all read through your packets? You see the code and the emails back and forth. Derek also has one in here from the state, and then Lynn's reply to that. So that's all important information.
Any discussion, before I let these gentlemen speak?
Where is the well going to be drilled? Is it on the farm or is it?
No, it's in the industrial park.
In the industrial
At the
park.
new place.
If I remember right, I want to say it was like 1,880 feet from our existing well.
Which is, sits a little more.
Yeah, correct. So,
Anybody else? All right, Jesse, thank you. All right, Mr. Starkey, you want to speak?
So this is B&H Well Drilling. I believe they're the ones actually doing the well for Deerberg.
Yeah.
This is just a map that I printed out this morning that kind of shows the proximity within reason of where the wells are at that are close versus where they're proposing to drill this well.
I also want to comment about the bridge. That's nice. First time I came off that, I was 17 with the drill rig. My dad said, hang on, son.
And the other paper that Greg just handed you was setbacks the DNR requires us to live by.
Can you give Jesse a copy of that
Yep.
as well?
Septic systems, distances from other wells, geothermal, they kind of govern everything we do, and we gotta live by it, so. Go ahead, Justin.
As you guys know, the main goal here is for the Ozark Highland whiskey is to get a well for that, and that's the biggest thing is that we had the DNR, and they said that there was no problem with doing just a regular domestic well. So that's the route we'd like to go, just simply cost-wise. It's just a lot more money to do a regular commercial well versus a domestic well. And these guys you had some specs on the city well currently versus.
So the city well now,
Your name for the record, sir.
Francis. DNR had sent us their log, which I have. copy of in here, I can get you guys. But the well now has 375 feet of casing in it,
It's 1,016 foot deep, I believe,
1150.
1150.
City well.
We were proposing more casing than what the actual city well has in it. 399 is what we proposed, which should alleviate any risk factors of contamination or anything like that.
Our proposed total depth is only 700 feet, so we're a long ways from, the total aquifers of the city's well.
Like, that's what Mr. Hermann was
Yeah.
asking was.
Yeah, we won't be in the same formations as the city well.
Sorry, I only had one copy.
Now, if you notice on these maps of the points, the well across the road from the city well, the Schroff residence, I believe, or, I believe that's correct.
Yeah.
That well was drilled in '62 before the city well was. There was no standards back then. I doubt if the well's even 200 or 300 feet, but probably 30 to 40 feet of casing. So it's never caused an issue with the city well.
And it's 345 feet approximately from the city well. And when I pulled them measurements off, I went to the middle of the city's property there in front of Mortier, not knowing exactly where the,
Not deadly accurate is what we're
within
saying.
10% probably is what that number would be. So I feel that we've, on a domestic side, have over-engineered the.
We basically overachieved what the city well has now.
Legally, we have to put a minimum of 80 feet of casing in a residential well. We're proposing 399, 400 feet. So,
Sir, can you explain casing?
What you need?
I'm
sorry. I'm very rough here. so-
Can you explain what casing is?
Casing is, if you go down the road, you ever see the white pipe or the steel pipe sticking out of the ground? That's casing.
Okay.
So that's actually drilled down to whatever point. A residential well, minimum's 80 feet. State-approved city wells, that's all determined by DNR. It can go anywhere from 200 to 600, 800 feet. These wells here in the city, mostly 400 feet. So, as I said, what we're trying to do for this well is make sure that it doesn't cause any problems.
Okay.
And we have drilled numerous wells up and down these hills. I just don't foresee a problem with it.
the map shows also, or the other paper, I'm sorry, the setbacks. Legally, we have to be 50 feet from any existing well. It's a lot farther than 50 feet, so that's the DNR side that regulates these rules since 1987. We've lived by these for that long, or Greg more than me, but, they regulate that for a reason, not so much a town or whatever, they're the government officials that try to regulate those end of things to keep things straight and forward, so.
So if you're doing 399 feet more casing than the city well, what would be if you had to do the public drinking water standards, how many feet of casing would that be?
It'd probably approximately be the same thing, but we have to put a full length of cement grout in it. What we're proposing now, we're gonna grout it to the standards of DNR. But if we do a city well, you actually force, you got a pipe. Let's just imagine the top of your cup here. We've got pipe casing sticking in it, the pipe that you see. We've got to force concrete down the inside, back up to the outside. That's called Halliburton grouting. That's the difference between residential and city type wells, state approved wells.
In a city well, you'd have to go a lot deeper to get the actual water that you need, so you could.
That's true for the most part because, the whole ideal is to always case out below the residential wells in the area. So they're wanting to go through, as you said, the first zone of water, and they're using the water from that point on down. So,
Casing seals off the upper
yeah,
formation.
any chance of contamination is going down.
So basically at 399 feet, if we're drilling the well and we have 20 gallons a minute at that point, just throwing numbers out there, when you put that casing in and seal it off, you're starting back at ground zero. You have zero.
You're blowing dust out of the hole.
So if that makes sense.
Yeah, okay, that's starting to make sense.
Yeah.
You're talking about contamination in
Yeah,
casing.
well, the thing about our job, you see what's there, but you can't see what's down
Right.
there. So, it's very hard to explain.
Okay.
But, if you have questions, stop me, because I talk to people day in and day out about it.
The casing
Sometimes.
seals off the upper aquifers, you know, keeps your contaminants out of the well
Gotcha.
for that well and other wells around it. I mean, and that's why it's important to follow the rules DNR says.
And I will tell you, we have drilled in the city of Columbia. I can't think of a town I haven't drilled in. Jeff City, Lake Ozark, you name it, I've drilled in town.
And do every day. I
Yeah.
mean, it just,
City of Columbia is actually encouraging people to drill wells because the water is so short up there. So we're drilling everywhere in town. So they're, like I said, actually encouraging it.
I talked with DNR, wellhead protection in Rolla, kind of told them what was going on here, and they kind of giggled a little bit, you know, but they deal with it
Like, what's
every
the
day
problem,
too.
huh?
Yeah.
That's exactly what they said.
Well, I mean, as long as we live by the rules, but I commend you guys on trying to make sure that this is done right. But believe me, it's gonna be done right.
Well, I mean, I guess the main worry would be the fear of contamination of our well, or you hit the same pocket and we run out of water.
Well, I don't think you'll never run out of
Well,
water.
I'm just saying, you know, but
Promise
that's how
me.
the mind works.
You know, that's how it works, and I hear it every day, but this well, my God, it's 1,100 feet deep, you know, and a residential well right there, as the troughs, is probably less than 300 feet.
If there was a potential source of contamination being 100 yards is what I was thinking of, but 350-ish feet away,
That would be the well
that
that's
would
gonna
be
cause
going
it.
less casing than what they require today, you know. All them old wells got grandfathered in, you know, it just,
Right.
and I think she said they built that place in 1962. And there was nothing there when they built it. Her husband is not doing well health-wise, and she had said she just going off of memory, but she said she's pretty sure they drilled the well when the house was built, which, like Greg said,
Sure.
little to no standards back then. And, you know, was it done right? I'm sure it works just fine. You know, if it wasn't working, they'd be calling somebody. So.
And I feel if DNR was concerned about this, I wouldn't think they would have let it go on, you know, to have
Well, I'm sure.
a regular domestic well, is our thoughts.
I will tell you, the formations in this area, the rock, it's gonna sound like drillers talk, but they're a very steady formation. There's not a lot of caves, cracks, crevices is what there is south. So the chance of cross-contamination really drops. I mean, really drops.
And he had said that when I had told him what they were doing with this, you know, whiskey distillery. The gentleman I talked to at Wellhead Protection, he said, well, I can think of a lot worse contaminants. He said, you know, gas, oil. He said, your whiskey. He said, a lot of people drink it. He said, contamination wise, I don't see that being a problem. But you know, it just.
I got you there.
My God, Hermann might be more famous than what it is.
Anybody have any other questions for you gentlemen? Nope.
Not me.
I know you can tell. All right.
We appreciate your time.
Yeah,
Thank you
thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you.
For explaining it to us.
Well, we try, but
If there's questions, I've got a business card here. We'd be happy to answer them.
Thanks, sir.
Yep, thank you.
thanks a bunch. Y'all have a good evening.
All right,
Thank you.
Okay, where do you?
It's totally up to you all if you are prepared to make a decision or if you want more time to think about it.
Do you guys want to go ahead and make a motion to approve this, or do you want to think about it for a while, or what do you do? I'm sure they're anxious to get it going.
I don't have any problem.
Honestly, I can't-
Make a motion to approve the.
All right, I have a motion to approve the well milling project. Second?
I will second.
Motion made and second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? One abstain. You're good.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
Y'all too. All right, we will move on to ordinances.
All right, the first, which is bill number 2024-45, for second reading, an ordinance setting the 2024 annual rates of levy for ad valorem taxes for general municipal purposes, establishment and maintenance of free public parks and municipal dam purposes.
This is second reading. Do I have a motion to approve?
I move to approve bill number 2024-45, second read.
Motion made. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. On this next ordinance, Lois, you want to come up to the podium here? This is the ordinance to terminate the lease. I didn't know if you were going to make any comments.
Well, I can say a little bit. Some of you are new to the board, of course, you recall that back starting in 2005, the Brush and Pallet Club began the efforts to restore the rotunda, and we were able to receive tax credits. We had successful grant applications. The project was about a $375,000 project, and we were able to get tax credits to raise about $230,000 of that amount. The balance of the amount needed for the restoration we raised through fundraising projects and just individual gifts that did not qualify for tax credits. The Department of Natural Resources Neighborhood Assistance Program required that the not-for-profit organization that was requesting the credits, because we were doing a project that was not on our property, it was city property, Neighborhood Assistance required that we have a long-term lease. And I wrote that grant application, and so I threw in this really long-term lease, 99 years, which, I really should have investigated. Well, the Neighborhood Assistance Program is really only concerned about 5 years after the project is completed. We had 2 applications, and our project was completed in about 2010 or 2011, so we're way beyond the 5 years that the Neighborhood Assistance Program is concerned about. Realistically, for a small not-for-profit group whose members are not spring chickens, a 99-year lease really does not make sense. Furthermore, I think the rotunda has proven itself. The project has proven itself. It's on city property. The city, at least our current employees, as you were applauding them a while ago, I have to agree. Our city employees, Ben Lebu is very interested in really taking care of that building, and so I think it's time for the lease to be terminated and the city assume responsibility for it. We will, of course, continue to be watchdogging it, but we are not concerned at this point.
I just wanted you to kind of explain so everybody knew what was going on. So with that, we will go ahead and read the ordinance. You.
Yeah, right. Bill number 2024-46 would be an ordinance to approve a lease termination agreement between the city of Hermann, Missouri and the Brush and Pallet Club, Inc.
Do you have a motion to approve?
I'll move to approve bill number 2024-46.
Motion's made. Do you have a second?
Second.
Motion made and second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any
I
opposed?
will have to abstain since I'm a member of, a board member of the Brush and Pallet Club.
Okay. So Carrie, do we need to do that a second time to get it over with, or?
I do need to mention that on that termination agreement, my name is Cruz now. It's
Yeah, I
not
thought
booked any
Bree.
longer.
You
It
fixed
was
it on the
booked at that time, but
It's
You fixed it on the original.
It's fixed.
okay.
Okay, let's read that a second time. That way it's completed.
Bill number 2024-46, an ordinance to approve a lease termination agreement between the city of Hermann, Missouri and the Brush and Pallet Club, Inc.
Do we have a motion to approve second reading?
Move bill number 2024-46, second read.
Motion made. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Abstain.
Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your time.
Next, for first reading, bill number 2024-47, an ordinance to revise Schedule 8 of Title 3 Traffic Code handicapped parking, adding a few handicap parking spaces.
We are adding some handicap parking spots. Do you want
You
to
can-
elaborate
sure.
on locations, or does it
Or
make
you
any
can jump
difference?
in if I get something wrong. So there are 4 of them. One of them is just outside the new parking lot that we put in on East 5th Street, which is gravel. So Travis Hernandez advised that we should have, we really needed to have a handicap parking spot for that parking lot, but because it's gravel, it doesn't meet ADA standards, so he advised we put it on the street immediately outside the parking lot. So that's one of them. The other one is also on East 5th Street there. This one is up there near Zydeco's and the Cycle Inn. There's the third one is on Market Street. We did not have one anywhere in that vicinity, and we did get a special request for one, and it's in a good location there. It sits outside like Simply Blessed, but you know, the Eagle Hall patrons can use it, anybody can use it, but it's a very good spot. And then we're adding one outside the amphitheater, right at the corner of Gutenberg and Fourth, because there were no handicap parking places near the amphitheater.
Okay, that's 4 locations. Do I have any discussion? If not, do I have a motion to approve?
Make a motion to approve Bill 2024-47.
Motion has been made. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and second. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried.
Next is bill number 2024-48, an ordinance to approve a municipal services and material contract by and between the city of Hermann, Missouri and Corrective Asphalt Materials, Inc. for street maintenance.
And this is what I referred to earlier, that Todd has gotten in the habit of requesting this every year because he's so impressed with this product and how it extends the life of new streets. And so this is a product, they're the only people in the Midwest who sell it. It's called Reclamite. And so this is to put this product on all of our new streets.
They put it on,
They put it on.
and the footage in here is what we have in our specs, correct?
I don't know.
The
what
square yards that they have listed.
It would have been whatever asphalt we put down this year. That's what Todd bases it off of. It's a water-based emulsion that they use to basically seal all the pores in the asphalt to keep water from getting through it. And then breaking it down, it protects it from sunlight, because obviously sunlight tears up anything.
And you would do it that quick after you...
Yeah, so this process here is supposed to be pretty much as soon as you can get it on, within a couple months. There is a curing time that they want. But then, you guys might remember us doing some other stuff. This is just a liquid. The other stuff we did a few years ago on some of the older streets was CRF. And that was like, they put screenings down on top of it and almost like a white rock chip and seal. And this is not that. This is just a liquid surface coating, and the street's closed for just an hour or two, I think, and opens back up pretty quick if I remember correctly.
And they've done this before?
Yes,
here?
they've been doing it on all the streets, I believe, since 2019 at least.
And this is coming out of the 7/8 cents.
This might be half
This
cent.
would be street.
I think this is half cent.
Okay, any other questions? If not, do I have a motion to approve?
I move to approve Bill 2024-48, its first read.
Motion has been made. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion made and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Does that need to be done twice?
It would hurt.
Would you read that one more time, please?
Bill number 2024-48, an ordinance to approve a municipal services and material contract by and between the city of Hermann, Missouri and Corrective Asphalt Materials, Inc. for street maintenance.
Do we have a motion to approve second reading?
I'll move to approve bill number 2024-48, second read.
Motion is made. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Completes ordinances. We will move on to motions. We'll have a motion to approve last meeting's minutes.
Move to approve.
Motion's been made. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and second. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. We have a motion to pay the invoices.
Move to pay the bills.
We have a motion to pay the bills. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. hire Sharon Meyer as a part-time tourism services assistant. Any questions? That's working at the visitor center. If not, do I have a motion to approve Sharon?
Move to approve.
Motion's made, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried.
Tammy, do we still have 3 of them working down there, or just 2?
She will be the third again.
Okay, caterers permit, Jeffrey D. Evans Smoke Fest 2024 Amphitheater, September 21st, 2024. Do we have a motion to approve that? Permit.
Move to approve.
Motion's made, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made, second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Caterers permit, Wood Hat Spirits, also for the Smoke Fest 2024 at the Amphitheater, September 21st, 2024. Do I have a motion to approve that?
Make a motion to approve.
Motion is made, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made, second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Caterers permit for Fernway Distillery Company, Hermann Harvest Festival, Amphitheater, September 28th, 2024. Motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Motion is made, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion is made and second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Caterers permit for Lionheart Whiskey Company, Hermann Harvest Festival, Amphitheater, September 28th, 2024. I have a motion to approve that.
Aye.
Motion to approve.
Motion made, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion made and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Picnic and liquor license, St. George Parish and School Dinner and Auction 128 West 4th Street, September 14th, 2024. And motion to approve.
I will move to approve.
Motion made, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made, second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Special event application for Lionheart Whiskey Company, Germantown Jams Free Community Concert with vendors, Amphitheater, September 14th, 2024. Have a motion to approve that.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion made and second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Caterers permit, Lionheart Whiskey Company, Germantown James Amphitheater, September 14th, 2024. Motion to approve that.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Motion made and second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Caterers permit for the 10 Mill Brewery Hermann Harvest Festival Amphitheater, September 28th, 2024. Have a motion to approve this one.
Motion to approve.
Motion is made, do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. We have no reports.
Mr. Mayor, we have
Yes,
one
ma'am.
extra one
Oh,
here on
yeah,
the
this
desk.
guy was added to the end, I'm sorry. We have one more temporary caterers permit application for J. Rieger and Company for the Herman Smoke Fest. Do I have a motion to approve that?
Move to approve.
Motion is made, do I have a second? Sorry. Motion made, second, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Corey. All right, we have no reports, so we want to go into closed session. So somebody want to,
I move we go into closed session for the purpose of discussion related to legal actions, cause of action, litigation, or privileged communications between the city's representatives and its attorneys, matters related to leasing, purchase, or sale of real estate, and matters relating to hiring, firing, disciplining, or promoting employees pursuant to section 610, 0211, revised statutes of Missouri.
do I have a second?
Second.
I need a roll call vote.
Aye.
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 We are now in closed session. Thank you, everyone, for watching and attending.
Yes.